Welcome to the first session of the Phocuswright Conference Online 2020, where we are traveling to the brink and back in these extraordinary times. We open as we mean to continue with our thoughts on rebuilding our industry. Today, we're focusing on diversity in leadership. This session is sponsored by Google, and we're delighted to have their support as we seek out practical advice on how we can create teams that represent our client base and position us into the future. My name is Kimberly Newbury. At Phocuswright, our goal is to inspire smart thinking through research. Like many of you throughout the crisis, we've been evaluating our business and thinking about things that we can do better and where we can be smarter. We've been asking ourselves as we start to emerge from the current crisis, can we proactively shape more inclusive, fair, representative, and sustainable teams? As we think about building and growing into the future, we've brought some outside perspective and research. You knew there would be research. This session is designed to help us to explore the topic of intentional diversity through the lens of the travel industry as we build back. We'll talk about how diverse teams and leadership impact innovation, adaptability, resilience, culture, and profitability. My colleague Jill Menz and I will be monitoring and reading out questions, so please write them in and send your questions. We'll pop up and ask them either during the programming or during Q&A. Although we're not in Phoenix this year, we are truly channeling the metaphor to the brink and back. 2020 has been a year of challenges and setbacks. The toll of COVID, our farewells to longtime colleagues and industry peers as we've restructured to survive. Our pivots, our missed goals, our own canceled vacations, homeschooling, missed milestones, and deeply unfulfilling Zoom celebrations. Despite all of that, we're incredibly hopeful. Like the Phoenix, we're rising. We've navigated this far. There's some promising vaccines on the horizons, and we're really working and eager to get the world back to traveling safely. Quite honestly, most of my conversations with clients and partners are about strategy for recovery. Our passion and commitment as an industry will drive us. Soon, travel will again enable businesses to grow, memories to be created, milestones to be celebrated, understanding to be deepened, and wonder to be inspired. And being here today means that you believe that too, so thank you. We've divided up the program so you can see specific areas of interest each day. So Phocuswright is really committed to sharing key data to inform strategy, since we're a global primary research firm, and we look at that to steer change. Sound, fact-based strategy is exactly what the industry needs to recover and thrive. And our networking platform that enables you to search for other attendees who are possibly interested in the same things you are, that's open throughout the event. Yesterday we hosted our Young Leaders program. Tomorrow we'll look at innovation, and you can see startups and more established companies as they present ideas on how we can be more creative and efficient. Next week, Tuesday, is a new session, Future Proof. As the name suggests, we'll be looking ahead with leaders from a variety of industries who have some innovative ideas to share. Wednesday and Thursday will be our center stage programming, along with breakout sessions and roundtables. This is our core content where we'll reveal some of our primary research for the first time, and we'll discuss it with industry leaders. If you haven't yet signed up for breakout sessions, please do. They're great small group opportunities for networking in our virtual world. Now on to today's program. So Jill will talk with Ginny Clark of Google to find out what it's like to head up a leadership recruiting for one of the most influential companies in the world. How does she envision the impact of women and diversity for the future? Danella Richard will then facilitate a panel as they talk about the business case for diversity and inclusion. She will leverage her own top-tier experience as a global sales and marketing executive in the travel industry, and she'll work with a panel to provide perspectives from both inside and outside of travel. They will identify how companies can increase representation and why it's important. We'll wrap that up with Q&A. And if we're lucky, Danella will tell us why her first international posting required some muscles and why the letters C and W have an exciting new significance for her. Coming up directly after that, you can join a networking session with the whole group to continue the conversation by re-entering the event platform. If you've registered in advance, this was when Expedia was planning to host their Ally Skills Workshop. 2020 being 2020, Zach Rubenstein and Rachel Luff, our facilitators for that session, are having some serious technical issues, and unfortunately, we'll have to invite you to another special session at a later date. They are devastated to disappoint. The UN Women UK He for She Male Allyship Workshop will be going ahead. If you are participating in that, you should have received a calendar invite with a link to the session. Thanks to Simon Gallo on that for facilitating. He is a UN advocate who will be running that session. So how did we get here? Phocuswright has always worked hard to put a variety of voices on our stages at our events and represent different perspectives in our editorial and our research. But we've still received feedback that let us know we needed to do more, and we needed to be intentional about it. In 2018, we started with a research study on gender equity. We collected a host of stories from many of you around initiatives that support women's leadership in the industry. We shared the results in sessions at our events and posted on Phocuswright your thought leadership pieces and opinion pieces. These are continuing today, and Jill will talk a little bit more about that later on. In an effort to expand our understanding, in 2019, we signed on to the CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion, which is a great place to get some more tools to help guide conversations within your own organization. We'll give you some more details on that at the end. We expanded our focus to diversity in leadership earlier this year. We were inspired by the amplified discussions we were all having, personally and professionally, about anti-racism, injustice, inclusion, and diversity. Our industry is all about bringing people together and celebrating differences. In fact, it's often what inspires travel. Organizations that serve this industry can do a better job of reflecting that through the composition of our teams. That acknowledgement, coupled with action and goal setting, can enable us all to thrive into the future. Changing our narrow focus on women to broadly discuss diversity in leadership enables us to expand our vision for the future of the industry and serve the people in it more effectively. But we're not forgetting women. We have 45 global mentors in our network who've been involved in launching or forwarding initiatives designed to move women into leadership positions in the travel industry. Many of them are here today, so thank you for coming. These mentors are also involved in programs that educate, equip, and encourage women, and they'll be great resources and guides for you and your own companies if you have questions about how they've done that, and if you're interested in looking to them for their expertise for your own events. They are happy to get in touch. Please feel free to reach out to me and I will make that happen for you. Oh, this quote. We all have likely heard this already, or we may have intuited it, or we just feel it. It was published in the New York Times on March 31st. The COVID-19 pandemic will have a disproportionate negative effect on women. To be fair, it wasn't all bad. This paper also suggested that the shift in the workplace culture and increased flexibility may also promote gender equity in the long run. But it's an important lens to consider as we discuss inclusion today. Interestingly, the date that this was published was March 31st, 2020. That is Equal Pay Day. This is a date that symbolizes how far into the year women must work to earn what men earned in the previous year. When we look at those numbers for other groups, African and Black women, Equal Pay Day was August 22nd. For Native American women, they worked until September 23rd. For Latina women, they will work until after this conference closes on November 20th to earn what men earned in 2019. And for the average woman who works full-time 40 hours a week for a 40-year career, she will lose over $407,000 because of the gender wage gap over the course of her lifetime. And that number breaks out even worse for other groups, for specific groups, I should say. So this may dishearten or enrage us, but the fact is this disparity doesn't have a positive impact on company performance in the long run. Companies with more than 30% women on their executive teams are significantly more likely to outperform those with between 10 and 20% women. And these companies, in turn, are more likely to outperform those with fewer or no women executives. As a result, there is a substantial performance differential of 48% between the most and least gender diverse companies. And I would love to hear what Ginny Clark has to say about that. Let's kick off our first interview, Jill.